You seem hungry. Good thing your table is ready with Saturday Omaha.
Saturday Omaha.
Eat this.
Hey, this is Dave with Saturday Omaha, and we are sitting in studio for a long overdue food overview. But more importantly, I have an awesome co-host whose voice you may be familiar with from past Saturday Omaha episodes. She has a particular set of skills, not only in photography, but as far as food goes, and that is Nat of Yum Omaha. Nat, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am doing very well. You kindly offered to come and talk about this restaurant, and the restaurant we're going to talk about is Bao, and they are located at 3044 South 84th Street in Omaha, Nebraska. And there's a bunch of reasons for you to come and talk about this, but one is we got to have dinner with your husband, Adam, and enjoyed a lot of really good food at Bao, which is awesome.
It was.
Super good. Mm-hmm. And then so after that, I was like, wait a minute. The other thing is I remember, I think it was probably our very first conversation that you and I ever had several years ago now at Hardy Coffee. It was either there or at my house because we were recording outside during COVID.
Yes.
And you brought cookies that day, which was awesome. Mm-hmm. But at some point, you had asked me what my favorite food was. Like, if I could only eat one thing forever, what would it be? And honestly, I don't remember my answer, but I remember yours, and that was noodles.
That was. And it still is.
It's still the case.
Still the case. That never changed.
And Bao definitely is a noodle-focused and bao bun-focused restaurant, no question, because, like, there's...
The name, the Bao.
Yeah, bao buns and noodles, and, like, there's... I think we decided that there was one dish on the menu that comes with rice, and it was a special. Like, they mostly focused on noodles and buns.
Yep.
The other reason, too, is you have skills in the kitchen when it comes to noodles because you make your own at home.
Correct. The ramen noodles, udon noodles, any noodles.
Any noodles.
I love noodles.
What do you like about making udon and ramen noodles and things at home?
So I think I talked about this before, but noodles to me is really the family tradition, like when it comes to cooking and in a kitchen as a family. So I grew up in Japan, and then my dad always could make his own noodle at home. It's like a like generation to generation coming down. So I saw that making a noodle. So now I'm making noodle. So I hope my kids will make noodle when they grow up. But, that's kind of like family thing. And then it's just so like, feel so warm and then relaxing. And it makes me feel good.
It's a comfortable dish to eat. And if I recall, and correct me if I'm wrong, but your dad or your family would make noodles and then also take them around to the neighbors and stuff as a gift
to share.
And did he make both udon and ramen? Is that where you learned to do both of those?
Actually, he only made udon and soba noodle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then there's a interesting Japanese tradition when you move into some, like let's say, you move into the apartment.
Yeah.
And you bring noodle to the neighbors as a greeting. Hey, I'm here. I'm new here. Nice to meet you. Here's a noodle. So it's a noodle is like a type of communication in Japan.
So being that I don't know much about that particular tradition, do you get to choose the noodle? Is there a traditional type of noodle? Would you choose an udon versus a soba, or just whatever you want to bring is okay?
Usually it's a soba for that occasion. But it's anything you want.
Anything you want.
Yeah.
And so for those that don't know or haven't made noodles at home, but between those, what flour types are kind of high-level difference between those different types of noodles? Yeah,
so soba noodle, you use the buckwheat, and it's really, really hard to make it. If you don't know how to use the buckwheat as a noodle, it's very, very hard to make actual noodle out of that flour. I tried. It wasn't successful.
Oh.
I failed so bad. Ask Adam next time. It was not good.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It didn't form noodle shape at all. But the udon noodle is flour, just a normal flour, and then some salt and then water, nice water. And then it's pretty easy to make. Yeah.
You're going to have to teach me sometime. So
Yeah,
I can learn.
absolutely.
Because it feels complex to me, but I don't know. I've seen videos of people like stringing noodles 6 feet long and slapping them on the
Yeah,
table.
the hand pull noodles.
Yeah.
Oh, those are the best.
That's
yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
And taste the care in there. But you're right. A noodle dish is super satisfying, whether it's in a soup or you have a plate of Italian pasta with sauce. It's just enjoyable. So yeah, and if I recall too, you approve of all noodles and pastas.
All noodles, pastas, and any type of noodles.
And in addition to liking noodles and knowing how to make noodles, you also know how to eat noodles, and
of
that's
course,
what
that's
we did
my
at Bao.
expertise.
And between the two of us, we had a lot of noodle dishes in true Saturday Omaha style form. I think between the two of us, maybe 6 different ones between our various visits, and we'll get to those in a second. But let's start with the namesake of the restaurant, Bao. So this is Hip Bao. And a bao bun is a fluffy little, about the size of maybe a tennis ball.
Yeah.
That's about right.
We have it right in front of us.
Yes,
right now.
so Nat totally upped the game here on the show this evening and actually brought in both steamed and fried bao.
Yep.
And we'll get some pictures of these out on social, or you can check out both Saturday Omaha and Yum Omaha. I'm sure we have some in our back catalog too, but we'll get some fresh ones out there. And they look great. They're kind of pinched together, and they come in varying types. So what did you bring this evening? What type of bao buns did you get?
So I got pork fried bao.
Okay.
And it's deep fried.
Yes.
And I think it's a steamed, then deep fried.
Yes.
And then I got 2 steamed baos, which is beef and chicken.
And they have a vegetarian option too.
Yeah.
If somebody wanted to get a vegetarian bao
Right.
bun. That's fantastic.
I just found that out. I didn't know.
Between the two, the steamed definitely, I think they both have kind of a chewy texture. And then the fried adds on an extra Maillard nice browning on the bottom and kind of gives it a little bit of a different texture between the two. And I find the wrapper very delicious, but it's also very mild. It's the wrapper itself, and then honestly, the filling is flavorful, but it's not super strong. It's kind of a mild dish.
And it comes with a sauce. So you can
yes.
dip in a sauce and eat it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So between the steamed and the fried, do you have a preference, or
I prefer steamed.
Ah, okay.
I think that's a tradition. I don't know what the tradition is, but I'm like Japan, Japanese culture have the bunch of those steamed buns there.
Yeah.
So that's what I know and I like.
Gotcha.
But fried one is amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. Either way.
They're both good.
Both good.
I kind of prefer the fried. I don't know if it's just the extra textural element
Texture,
that's on
texture
there.
and little flavor from the oil.
Yes.
Those are good.
Yes, especially when they're hot and fresh.
Right.
And they cook them up pretty fast there at Hip Bao when you order.
Yeah. It took only I think it was 7 minutes.
Wow, super
for
fast.
all these 3 different type of bao. Because I asked it, I'm in a hurry. I need to get into the studio. So, yeah.
I got to talk about these bao buns on the air. Come on, we need some. Like you said, they're quick, and they made the drive all the way from 84th and Center to here. We're almost downtown, and they're still nice and warm, nice and hot.
Yeah,
they
it
held
was.
up real well.
It held well.
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect.
Yeah, and don't eat them in the car because that might not be safe, but you might be able to. Just saying.
Might be.
Possibly.
Don't.
But you might be. The interior of the bao bun always intrigues me too, because it's hollow in the middle almost. If you get a pork or beef or chicken, there's a very finely, I'm going to say ground, and then a tiny meatball inside. But I almost feel like it rattles around on the inside a little bit. It isn't always attached.
Oh, it's in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that it's not always attached to all
that?
the exterior. I don't know. I don't know if it maybe the dough puffs up when it cooks and it separates a little bit from the meatball.
Yeah, that explains.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess we could do some. We could like open this box right here and do a little,
check.
Is this my bao bun box?
Yes.
I'm going to say bao bun box a whole bunch of times on this episode. I'm actually going to grab a fried bao bun here, which if we look at it again, we'll get pictures out there. Very nice golden brown on the bottom. I'm assuming just hand pinched on the top because it looks like there's some marks there. And I'm going to try to gently open this up, and I'm going to bet.
There you go.
I'm going to try this, I'm going to tip this, and the meat literally comes right out. It doesn't fully adhere to the exterior of the bao bun, so it's like you have a bao bun baby rattle. So I don't think you'll be able to hear it because it's too soft on the microphone. I'm going to eat this later, but Nat and I were talking, and we thought about maybe just starting the show eating bao buns, but we'll save you the ASMR bao bun episode.
That's right.
So bao buns, you got to get them. They make a great appetizer. Do you remember about how many came to an order when you got them? Was it like
6 or 12, I think.
6 or 12?
Yeah, you can pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So plenty to share. Get an order of 6 or 2 orders of 6 or whatever you want to do.
Yep.
Okay. Now, we had a lot more appetizers between the two
That's right.
of us here.
They have so many great food up there. Like
They do.
Yeah.
So what was an appetizer that you had that was not a bao bun?
Oh, so one of my favorites is that crab ragoons.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're triangle crab ragoons. Has that different texture. They bread it, I think, and then deep fry it. So it's the crunchy texture.
Yeah, they're a little different than some restaurants kind of do the folded and pinched where it kind of looks like a star.
Yeah.
And like you said, these are like a triangle.
How they make that?
I don't know.
How they seal it?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not pinching or anything there. It's pinched to what the edges.
I wonder if they use like a sometimes like for raviolis there's like a press. I wonder if they have some type of mold or press. I don't know. Or
I don't know. Maybe just the water. Put the water
and
and
just gently pinch it together.
Yeah.
That could be. Well, and they get a super nice golden brown fry on them. And I think one thing is so I'm not a huge cream cheese fan, so I'll let you in on this one. But the amount of filling though that they are able to put in those triangle ones is a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's big and then lots of filling. And I love it. Every time I go there, I have to get that.
Do you do sweet and sour sauce with them or just straight crab rangoon?
I use a sauce.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sauce is a good thing.
Sauce is good. The little your sweet and tangy, that's just a perfect.
Yes, and I don't know if they make the sweet and sour sauce in house, but I think she makes the bao bun sauce. In there.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool having some handmade stuff.
Yep.
So the crab rangoons, definitely if you are in the mood for a cream cheesy but very well packed to the wrapper, filling in there, and a great starter for appetizer. Oh, I forgot a bao bun. I forgot the taro bao buns.
Oh yeah, you try that.
Yes. So
the purple one.
The purple ones.
Yes.
So these are fun on looks alone. Order these at least once, but this could be more of a dessert item. They're still hot. It's still a steamed bao bun, but with a taro, the bao bun is purple and the filling is
What was
purple.
the filling?
It's a very light layer of, I'm assuming, like a taro paste.
Okay.
And so if you were to slice it in half, and there's that open cavity of the bao bun like we were describing with the meat version, there's just a very small layer of taro paste or jelly on the bottom floor of the opening of the bun. And so about as, I was going to say about as thick as you might put jelly on a peanut butter and jelly, but honestly, it's thinner than that. So it's not like you're going to eat it and a bunch of jelly's just going to shoot out at you.
Right.
It's just gently coated. So you could tear one in half and probably not make a mess.
Okay.
But sweet. Both the bao bun itself, the bun is sweet and the filling is sweet, but it's not overly sweet. It's a
slight.
Yeah, just a hint.
Yeah.
Just a hint of
I
sweetness.
like those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a fun one. Go impress your friends with a purple bao bun.
There you go. I have to try that next time.
You too. You too. Let's see. Appetizers as well. I had the chicken egg roll, and I like the egg rolls here. This is kind of my style of egg roll. I better backtrack a little bit. I really enjoy lumpia a lot, and I also really enjoy Vietnamese egg rolls.
This thin, like a thin wrapper thing, the crunchy.
Yes.
thin wrapper.
And for those type of egg rolls, I like them when they're fried really good where they're not greasy. Every once in a while you'll get one and it's just like soaked, and I don't dig that. I like it when it's nice and crisp and crunchy. However, the egg rolls at Hip Bao are the type that are, I think they're actually fried, or there's a little flour and then they're fried, because they kind of have that bubbly texture on them. It's kind of a different
That's
style.
different.
Somebody told me once it was a Cantonese style egg roll. I am not an egg roll expert. If there are any egg roll experts out there, please message us on social or email me at SaturdayOmaha@gmail.com, or hit up Yum Omaha and be like, hey, that's the style of egg roll it is. So little egg roll research is needed. However, I really like that style because it tends, at least for me, tends to not be quite as oily. The interior, cabbage, carrot, I'm assuming some Chinese, some five-spice powder in there, and a little bit of chicken. Not heavily loaded, overloaded on any of those ingredients, so it's nicely balanced. And I really like breaking them open, because then I can get a bite with the veggies, or I can just take a bite of the wrapper, because sometimes I just want that, or like a cohesive bite. So that's awesome. Have you had that?
I never had that.
Oh.
I need to try that.
All right. So taro buns and
And an egg roll.
And you can get just one egg roll if you want to try it too. Which is
Okay.
nice. And I think it's like it's like $1.79. So
Okay.
like, why
Yeah.
wouldn't you? So let's talk about some noodles, because
Yes.
that's kind of where we started this
That's
whole
right.
thing. I'm going to start with the pork dumpling noodle. And
Yum.
yeah, so the noodles are kind of a medium thick noodle. Had a dish that we'll talk about in a minute that had a very thin noodle. And I'm assuming they're either just flour or possibly egg and flour. I don't know. And if I had to, I guess, compare the noodles that are on the pork dumpling noodle and actually a couple of the other dishes, they're about as big around as a spaghetti noodle, I think. Maybe a little thicker, do you think, on like on the beef noodle soup?
Is the same noodle?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
It's an egg noodle, I think.
It is an egg noodle. That's what I was
so.
thinking too.
Yeah, egg noodle.
Okay. All right. So very likely an egg noodle. Do please ask the restaurant if you want to know. I wasn't able to tease any information. I tried to kind of talk to the owners there about what they were putting in the broth and things like that, and they didn't want to give up any of their secrets. So maybe we'll have to get them on the show and see if they will.
That's right.
The bowls that you get for any of these noodle soups are very good size. I don't know if they're quite as big as what I would expect from like a bowl of ramen, where it's like a huge bowl.
Right.
But they're big, and they put a ton of noodles in there, which I love. So on this pork dumpling noodle soup, you had that layer, big bunch of egg noodles, and then on top were actually 3 little slices of baby bok choy.
Okay.
I love bok choy, baby bok choy, delicious, and some sliced green onions. And then the other thing on top were 7 doughy pork dumplings.
Yum.
Right? And so we were talking about this before we started the show here, about describing these dumplings. And in size, they're about the size of what you might expect from a pot sticker. But the dough they're definitely not fried. I think they're boiled because it's chewy.
Chewy. Yeah.
And a little thicker. And it has has pork, a little ball of pork in the middle. And our Midwestern folks that maybe be listening to this, the same way that maybe a grandmother might make some homemade noodles for chicken noodle, and it has a very dense texture, but it's good because it's chewy. That definitely is kind of like that. Yeah. What was kind of interesting is they sort of like noodled my noodles, because I had this layer of noodles, and then they threw on like 7 dumplings on top of it.
Right.
So, a lot of fun, very hearty. The dumplings were big enough that you got about 2 big bites per dumpling.
Per dumpling.
Yes.
So that's a lot of food.
It is. You could eat it in one go, but I don't think I'd recommend it. And you could probably make it work for 3. However, I don't know that my chopstick skills are good enough to get 3 bites out of it. I kind of had to do it in 2. However, I will say my thanks to the restaurant, because this has happened twice now. I placed my order. She goes, forks and bottles and stuff are over there. And I go over and grab chopsticks instead of a fork. And she's like, "You're going to use chopsticks? Like, that's awesome." I'm like, "Yeah, it's the only way to go." So, Nat, maybe you can help with proper noodle etiquette here too, because from my understanding, it is okay to raise the bowl towards your face and scoop noodles into your face with your chopsticks. Is this true? Or do you go from table all the way up to your mouth? What's your preferred
from the
move?
table all the way up to my mouth.
From the table?
Yes.
Oh, so your skills are better than me. So I might
Well,
just...
yeah. If you talking about the soup,
Yes.
we lift it up, the bowl, lift it up.
have to.
Then just to drink the soup
Yes.
out of the bowl. But
Yes.
I don't think you would do the noodle.
Okay.
But doesn't matter. However you want.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that a lot. So
As long as you like the noodle.
as long as you can get the
Yeah,
noodle.
exactly.
Okay. Perfect.
Yes.
In addition to these guys too, steaming hot, you could get kind of the bok choy, the scent off of the top of those, and they're just those 3 little pieces. There's definitely a sweet component to the meat here for the pork dumplings. I don't know what all is in there, if there's like some mirin in there, or I'm not sure. Sweet soy sauce, I don't know, but it has a slightly sweet component to it. Mm-hmm. It reminds me a little bit of Vietnamese Asian restaurant that's right next to Nebraska Furniture Mart. And no, I was not summarizing the restaurant. That's actually the name of it, is Vietnamese Asian restaurant. And they have an egg roll vermicelli bowl. And
Ooh, yum.
So good. And so they bring out the vermicelli, but then there's halves of egg roll on it. Mm-hmm. These 2 dishes kind of remind me of each other. It's like, okay, I've got noodles, and then you threw another awesome thing on top of it.
So how was the soup?
I thought the soup was really good, and I actually went back again after having... I'm trying to remember which one I had first. Oh, yeah. No, that was the first one, was the dumplings, because I wanted to compare the broth between the different soups. Mm-hmm. Because what I didn't know is if they were using one broth for all of them.
Right.
And my guess is it's maybe a similar starter broth, and maybe they're adding things to it to make it whichever flavor they want.
Okay.
So, yeah, very good here. Definitely enjoyed it, and the noodles on my noodles were good. So over to you. Give me a noodle dish. What did you have?
Oh, so there are 2 noodles that I tried. One is a Beijing noodle. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about that?
Let's do it.
All right. So Beijing noodle is soupless noodle.
So no
soup.
Okay.
It's a noodle on the bottom of the bowl. It's like ground beef, like ground meat. I don't know what that is.
It almost looks like if somebody were to put chili on noodles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, and then some cucumbers, sliced cucumbers, and some vegetables. Then you mix it up, and then eat it. It's so good. It's very, how do you say, rich flavor.
Okay.
Compared to those other soup noodles.
Yeah.
Soup noodles has great flavor, but this one, Beijing noodle, has really, really deep, rich flavor.
Oh, so lots of umami, lots of richness in there.
Yeah, the meat has tons of flavor packed in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't need a soup. It's just mix it up and then eat it.
Oh, so the savory component of the broth is like translated or available in the meat. Did you miss having broth with your noodles, or it just worked great as it is?
It's funny because I love soup noodles.
Yeah.
But that noodle, Beijing noodle, is just like, it is what it is. And then I enjoy as is.
That's awesome.
When I eat the Beijing noodle, I don't think about soup. It's just, okay, I'm eating this soupless noodle, which is awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And the cucumbers, do you recall if they were like sliced or like diced or
how do you call it? Like very thin slices. Like, like a
matchstick or round?
Like matchsticks.
Like a matchstick. So maybe, all right. So
like tiny.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Very good. And then is it sweeter or spicier?
It's a sweet, spicy at the same time.
Oh, okay.
It's good. It's really sweet and spicy together. It's so good.
Wow. It's making me hungry right now.
I know. I need to go back.
Right. What are we doing right after we record this? How was the spice level? Because when I've ordered, she hasn't really, it's
it's not that spicy. I can't handle that much spice.
Okay.
But I could eat.
Got you.
No problem.
And
I enjoyed. So it's not that spicy. If you want spicier, then you can put more chili, whatever they have there.
Good call.
What is that? The spicy chili?
Oh, like spicy chili oil.
Oil, something that they have. Yeah.
The type of noodles that were on that dish, what type of noodles were they? Were thicker, thinner?
I think it's the same egg noodle.
Okay, so similar to what
Yeah.
that makes sense. So maybe towards we'll get to the beef noodle soup in a minute.
Right.
More like that style of noodle, or like
Yeah.
I had with the dumpling where it's that thicker, about spaghetti size, give or take a little bit.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's the Beijing noodles, and talking to the owner there, she I think the first time I went in, I had the beef noodle soup because a lot of people talk
Yes.
about that, but I think the Beijing is actually her favorite, if I recall.
Oh, is it?
I think
Okay.
so. I think so. So, you use that for what it's worth. But I like Nat said on how you eat your noodles, just pick something. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's move on to the
beef noodle.
Yes.
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 Beef noodle.
All right. So start it off. Tell me about the beef noodle because if I recall, this is one of your favorites on the menu.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. I tried that, like the Beijing. And actually, I tried the vermicelli and then beef noodle. And I always go back to beef noodle.
That's where you always land.
Oh, it is so good. And then I think that's people love there too. That's I think top selling number one popular item.
Is the beef noodles.
I think. Well, that's what I like.
That's if it wasn't popular, it will be now. 'Cause
Right.
Nat says it's her favorite.
Right.
So, well, I found these a little less sweet than pretty much either of the things that I had. Either the so it's less sweet, and I found this one to have a little heat to it.
Yeah.
But you're still okay with the spice level on
Yeah.
these? Okay.
It was perfect. And the big chunk of beef.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's thinly sliced.
Yeah.
And there's a good, I don't know, maybe a good cup worth of beef on top.
Yeah.
They don't
A lot.
shortchange you on the
Right.
protein. Yeah.
It's good. And a bok choy, I think.
Oh, bok choy on there
Bok
too.
choy,
Oh,
yeah.
yes. In fact, invoking a phrase from earlier episodes in my notes, which is where I keep my notes. Yes, baby bok choy and green onion also here as well. The beef for me was a little sweet when you first took a bite, and then kind of the heat worked its way in right after that. It wasn't like super strong, but it was kind of that sweet and heat mix.
Right.
And my theory here was that the pork dumpling soup, it might be the same broth, and then they just crank up maybe the heat or something to kind of bring it up for the beef noodle a little bit. I don't know. That's just totally my theory, because if I was a restaurant and I had a base broth that I really liked and could just tune it to the dish that I wanted,
Right.
I would totally do that. So
Yeah. I think they cook the beef, like in a separate bowl, pot.
Yeah.
And then that juice
Yeah.
comes into that broth.
Oh, and adds to it?
Yeah, adds to it. That's why it's a little different than other soup. I think
like
that's
that.
my guess.
I like that guess. And yeah, the meat there, all the meat on everything is cooked very well, thinly sliced. It's not chewy. It doesn't make you work at it.
Right.
It's just easy, which is good, because if you throw your chopsticks in there and you're grabbing noodles and meats and you want to eat everything in a good cohesive bite, it really works really well.
Yeah. And it's hot.
Yeah. And have you ever taken it to go?
No.
I haven't either. I'm guessing it travels pretty well though.
You think?
I think so. I don't know. You know what? I'd be curious is like Raisin ramen.
Yeah.
So they give you 2 containers when you order
Right.
ramen.
They separate the noodle from the
Yes.
broth.
Yes.
That's if that's the case, I think that's fantastic.
That would be awesome.
Because I don't want a trouble noodle in the soup.
Right.
I don't want to keep the noodle in the soup for a long time.
Because they're going to cook more and
Yeah,
maybe get
and then
gummy.
it gets a soggy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, and I like that too, like with Raisin, then I can kind of throttle how much broth I want or how much noodles I want.
Yeah.
And so, we may have to do some exploratory ordering and see
To
what it
go.
looks like as a to-go.
Yeah. Yep.
Because we know how the bao come. They
That's
come in a
right.
container, but those are easy to travel.
That's
so.
true.
But with that broth staying nice and hot, and man, when they bring it to your table, it is steaming hot, too.
Hot. It is hot.
Everything's hot.
It's funny. Asian people can eat hot food right away, all the time. That's how we eat food.
Must be steaming hot.
Yeah, must be hot. You always complain, this is not hot. This is not hot.
Not
So,
hot enough. Well,
yeah.
I suppose that way it's fresh, it's been thoroughly cooked, and
Yeah.
it's enjoyable.
Yeah, Adam's always, how can you eat the hot? Like it's hot, but it's good. You know? That's how we eat it.
Is that ever, you're eating it like, ow, this hurts, but it's hot and it's good?
Right. It has to be hot.
It's almost boiling. What about it when, because we're in Nebraska here, so what about when it's 100 degrees outside? Are you still?
Then it has to be hot.
Has to be hot.
Noodle has to be hot. The soup, yes.
All right, so that's the beef noodle. I think definitely one of my favorites. In fact, I might hang my my noodle hat on the beef noodles of the three that I had, and we're going to talk about the vermicelli here in a second. But out of all of them, the beef noodle, the pork dumpling, I think the beef noodle is like the starter and the way to go because it's really good.
Yeah, you have to try it at least once.
Do you know, is that Adam's favorite dish?
The beef noodle?
The beef noodle?
I think his favorite is the Beijing noodle.
The Beijing noodle. Okay. All right. So less broth for Adam, more solid ingredients.
Yes.
There.
Yes.
Okay. All right. But you, beef noodle.
Beef noodle. All the way. All day. Beef noodle.
Awesome. So let's traverse then over to a little bit of a different dish, pork vermicelli bowl. And so this is a totally different type of noodle.
Totally different.
And I know this dish only from when I've had it at Vietnamese restaurants.
Yeah.
And so you get a very thin vermicelli, like a rice vermicelli.
That's a rice, yeah.
And then on there as well, mine had shredded cucumber, carrot, and then kind of a fun, I don't know if it's a Midwestern move because there's fried onions on there, like French's like fried onions.
Yeah, fried onions. Yeah.
Can I get a green bean casserole version of this, please? I'm going to start some horrible debate about green bean casserole noodles. No, please don't. I did find on this one that the vermicelli, if I recall, was hot.
It was. The noodle was hot.
Yes.
And then a lot of noodles.
Yeah. Oh, tons.
This is a lot.
Yes. Yeah. In fact, I think I drank most of the broth and there were still noodles in there when I got done.
Noodle. I couldn't eat the whole thing last time.
It's packed.
Packed.
So, yeah, definitely not shortchanging there. And it was interesting to me that the vermicelli was like steaming hot because when I've had a similar dish at like Vietnamese Asian restaurant, it's usually cold.
Yeah.
So it was a different twist on that
Hip
dish. For
bao
me.
served as a super hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So which works for you because you want your food super hot. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
So because you had the vermicelli, I think when we all went together, me, you, and Adam, right?
Yeah.
Which version did you have? Did you have the pork?
The pork.
You
yeah.
also had the pork.
Pork, yeah.
Okay.
And then it has a lot of pork meat on it.
Yes.
Like a lot of pork.
Yes.
Yes.
And I liked it too because there was a good. I really always want that char when I get one of those bowls.
Yes.
And it definitely had that. You could see the char
Yep.
on the meat, which I really appreciate. That's just extra flavor, which is awesome. And then if listeners out there, if you haven't had a similar vermicelli bowl like this, when you get it, it is a bowl of dry ingredients, and then you get a sauce on the side, which you pour over the top. In analyzing the sauce, I took a drink right out of the sauce container because I wanted to see what it tasted like without anything else. Again, my frame of reference is the ones that I've had at the Vietnamese Asian restaurant, and their sauce is fish sauce. It's a little sweeter. This one was not as sweet, a little more salty. Definitely some fish sauce in there. Fish sauce is delicious. If you don't put fish sauce on your stuff, what are you doing? It adds so much flavor. You don't need a lot, but it's very, very delicious. And so you pour this sauce over the top of all of your ingredients.
Yep.
And she was so nice because she brought me 2 of the containers in case we needed more. And she's like, if you need more, let me know.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have tableside soup making.
There you go.
It was good. What were your feelings on the pork vermicelli?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah?
I mean, it's just like love the combination of all the ingredients, you know, and then the soup, like a soup or sauce. I don't know what to call.
I'm
because it's like a little
It's
container.
small.
It's a small,
Yeah.
and then you pour over it.
Yeah. Like
It's a soup or sauce.
I'm gonna go. It's a sauce until it goes in the bowl, then it becomes a soup. Because it's like if you ordered a side of barbecue sauce or a side of ranch to go from anywhere,
Right.
and they were to bring out the little 2-ounce little plastic container with a lid, that's what my sauce came in.
Right.
And so I keep saying sauce. So I'm going to double down on sauce.
Sauce.
And it's very thin because it's not a broth. If I had a guess, I'm going to go rice wine. I'm going to go fish sauce. and I'm going to go maybe, I don't know if I'm going to go mirin because it wasn't very sweet. Not spicy at all.
No.
But I think I'm going to double down on the rice wine because there usually is a little bit of an acidic component. But
Yeah.
it's not overly vinegary either.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to go sauce until you pour it on. Then it's a soup.
Okay. All right. Let's do that.
Because it's definitely not a broth.
Not the broth.
No. Yeah. So it's something that I think is made of a maybe if it's made of a combination of sauces, therefore it is still a sauce.
Sauce.
I'm going to go for that.
Okay.
And if I'm wrong, somebody let me know. Because while I am not an expert on all things food, I just really like to eat. And
Me too.
That's pretty much where I'm
Eating.
at.
Yep.
Well, let's see. When I went to lunch last time there, TJ actually had the vegetarian version of the
Vermicelli?
The vermicelli.
Okay.
And so this really just had the veggie version had some tomatoes instead of pork.
Oh, okay.
However, I will caution my vegetarian and vegan friends out there. I would ask what's in the sauce because if it's fish sauce, you
right.
suddenly have unvegetarian your vegetarian bowl. Right. So maybe I should say a vegetable bowl, not a vegetarian bowl.
There you go. Vegetable bowl.
Yes.
There you go.
So always ask your food purveyor about ingredients. That's important.
Smart. Yep.
Yes. Okay. So we talked about the pork dumpling noodle. We talked about the beef noodle, which I think you and I decided is our favorite.
It's the favorite. Yep.
All right. We covered two different vermicelli bowls, bao buns, crab rangoons, egg rolls, and quite frankly, all of those things we just mentioned are all delicious.
All delicious.
Yeah.
And do you remember one more thing? The scallion pancake?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, please do talk.
When we went there
Yes.
last time,
That's right.
she brought it out out
right.
for us and to try.
Yes.
And it was good.
Tell me about those texture-wise, flavor-wise.
It's like
what
a
did you
flaky,
think? Very flat.
flat.
Yes, as a pancake, I suppose, should be.
It's not buttery. How do you say it? It's like the oil.
The type of crisp that you would get on a hash brown, I think. A nice flat
Yeah.
hash brown.
Right.
Kind of that golden brown crisp. If you've ever been out to Ling's for Chinese, and she had a version of pot stickers that had like a dumpling skirt where all the dumplings were attached to each other. So you get the pot
Oh,
stickers.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and they're all like one piece, and you can pull them apart, and
Yes.
so it's like that crispy element,
Right.
Like that, like a hash brown crunch, or even if anybody's out there's had a burger with a cheese skirt on it, where they take a big like handful of cheddar and throw it on there, and it kind of gets crispy on the edges. It's almost kind of like that, maybe.
I feel like it's like a Chinese or Asian version of a smushed croissant.
Oh, I like that. A
The
smush.
texture wise.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
Just-
It's
yeah.
like kind of like the flaky but smushed
Yeah.
in the flat.
like flaky and
The
crisp, but
layers.
flat. Yes,
Flat. And then a scallion and more like a savory version
Yes.
of croissant.
Yeah, because you're right. Because it wasn't sweet. This is definitely a savory,
Not the
pancake.
sweet, right.
Right, and not pancake in the sense of it is a flat device cooked in a pan, not a fluffy doughy pancake as you
No.
might get at your favorite breakfast place.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
She did bring those out for us. And I might have to get those again. They were really good.
It was good.
She is so happy with just seeing the smiles on people's faces when they enjoy what she's
Right.
making. And I really appreciate that about them.
Yes.
About them there.
Very nice service and
for sure.
hospitality. Every
Yes.
time I go there, it's like make you feel at home,
Yes. Much to my personal chagrin, I said I was going to talk about the ambiance of the restaurant when we started, and so we're going to do it at the end here. The inside is very, I will say, straightforward.
Yeah.
There's several, 6 top tables,
Yep.
a couple of 4 tops, very basic interior, definitely geared for to go because there's no fountain drinks. This is fast casual, maybe because you order at the counter, you go sit down, and then she'll bring your food out to you.
Right.
It's not fine dining, and I don't know that I'd want it to be. It's just a great place to go in and enjoy some noodles.
Simple, casual. That's it. No frills.
And price-wise, I mean, you can feed people really well. I think my pork dumplings was like $11.99.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. And do you remember how much the bao buns were? Give or
Bao
take,
buns is, I think, it's $6.99 for 6
Okay, so
baos.
about
It's
a buck a
not,
piece
yeah,
or so?
it's great.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and when you get a bowl of noodles and that meat, you're going to be full.
Oh yeah,
She looked at me. So I went in with Fatter Dad, my dad, and my brother, and we went in to eat. And I went up to order first, and I was like, "Okay, so I need a chicken egg roll. I need to get a vermicelli bowl. I need to get beef noodles,
noodle soup.
and I think I maybe ordered one other thing." And she's like, "Your total's this, and where are you all sitting?" I said, "Oh no,
That's for me.
that's for me." And she's like, "That's for you?" So, in typical Saturday fashion, we took up a lot of that table.
Yep.
Now, I will say that I did get a to-go bowl. So they did have a nice to-go bowl with a nice, tightly fitting lid because I think if I would have finished, I finished all the pork vermicelli,
Okay.
and I took the beef noodle to go simply because I guess because I've had the beef noodle before, so I wanted to eat all of the vermicelli this time around. But I had a lot to go, and I was plenty full.
Oh, I bet.
No question.
I can't believe you ate the whole vermicelli bowl. That is a lot of food.
It is a lot of food. It was really. I mean, they're rice noodles. They don't count for calories, do they?
0 calories.
0 calories.
0
I
calories.
suppose.
Yep, for sure.
Maybe if you enjoy it enough, it doesn't. The caloric count goes down. I don't know. So definitely. So I think. Let's see. So if you're going to go in for a first time, you have to get some bao buns. That's a must.
Yeah, it's in the name.
It is.
Yes.
That's true. So you have to get some bao buns, steamed or fried, your choice. Nat likes the steamed. I like the fried. I like them. Well, I think we like them both.
Both.
It's just our
Yeah,
preference.
both. Yeah.
But I think we both decided on if you're going to go noodles and you're okay with beef in your diet, go with the beef noodle soup.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
100%.
Perfect. Well, I guess any details that we missed about hip bao? Did we get everything?
I think so.
Okay. Well, perfect then. We'll kind of wrap it up here on the show. You can find Hip Bao at 3044 South 84th Street in Omaha. And go in there. You don't have to spend a lot to get a lot of good food. You could get that beef noodle soup and an egg roll for $1 and change or whatever it is. And you're going to be full. It's going to be a nice place. Take a friend. I think, I don't know. Are noodles better?
She would
when you go there?
enjoy.
She would.
Totally
Yes.
enjoy seeing many people there.
I
you
think
know?
so too. I think she's very. She really wants people to come in and like the food.
Yes.
And there's no reason not to because I think everything we've had there is very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really found a misstep on the menu. I think there's some things we like better than others, but that's called preference. So go try something and enjoy it. All right. Well, Nat Ogura with Yum Omaha and David Zorgo from Saturday Omaha. That is our overview of Hip Bao. Go try it. And as we say on the show, until we eat again.
But wait, there's more today. Yeah, that's right. We're done talking about Hip Bao, and we're going to do a kind of a short review for you, or maybe a preliminary overview of a new old spot, if that's a thing. A while back, there was a place called BBQ Bros Cafe, and they were located in the Travel and Transport building over in Omaha. That location since closed. And in kind of, I don't know if serendipity is the right word, but also another location that closed, but not the restaurant, is Doozy's in Council Bluffs. They recently moved to a brand new building off of Veterans Memorial Highway. It's a great place. Go stop there and get a waffle cone with some cookies and cream ice cream. It's a great combo. However, since Doozy's moved into their brand new location, which is open, they left vacant their old location at 321 Comanche Street in Council Bluffs. That building was then taken over by BBQ Bros. So BBQ Bros is back. So now if you remember their food, you can head over there and try it out. Or if this is new to you, this might be a great place to stop if you're in the Council Bluffs area, or you want to drive for some food, or maybe you live right close to them at Council Bluffs, or you're headed over to Lake Manawa. It's a small little building, so there is kind of limited seating inside, but you can do takeout or dine in, as I happen to on my fact-finding Saturday revisit, if you will, just kind of trying to see what's going on, because we've had this food before, but it's been a while. So I got a 3-rib plate, which came with 2 sides, and I got mac and cheese and potato salad, which two of my favorite sides. I love those, especially nice cold potato salad and a nice piping hot creamy mac and cheese. And BBQ Brothers did not disappoint. The flavor on the potato salad was definitely their own, larger pieces of celery there, and the salt level was just on the edge. It was not too salty. It was just creeping there. So there was a lot of flavor and did not tip the edge of saltiness. And the mac and cheese was like a cavatappi, like a curly spiral noodle pasta, good al dente tooth texture, and tons of creamy sauce, which I really do enjoy in a really good mac and cheese. The side size is also quite sufficient here at BBQ Brothers. The rib plate, I think, ran right around $13 and had 3 rib bones, but the size of the sides was quite sufficient in that there was a lot of potato salad and a lot of mac and cheese. So even though it was a 3-bone rib plate from a protein standpoint, it definitely brought home the large supporting actors for the 3 bones. I also got a brisket sandwich because I really wanted to try 2 of their meats, and this was kind of my move so that I could get a couple of different things. And the brisket here was good. I always like a very more of a fatty brisket. I like to get my brisket off of the point versus the flat, which is the less fatty spot. And everybody has their own preference here. I do like a little bit of that. So I personally could have used a little bit more there. However, the ribs for me were really the star of the show. Whoever decided to create this seasoning was really thinking, because it was very flavorful, and whoever applied the seasoning did so with a perfectly judicious hand and application. These ribs were so good that they required some tooth-based. We'll just say that those bones got cleaned off. That's how to phrase that, because it was just so good. I wanted to make sure that I got every little bit of that seasoning, and there's a little bit of that, I think, the silver skin or membrane on the bottom side of the bone there. Yeah, I cleaned that off too. That's not usually my favorite section of a rib if it is on there, but holy buckets, man, they really delivered on flavor here. So it was great. It was so nice to be able to see BBQ Brothers open again, and they join, Boxer Barbecue as Council Bluffs barbecue-based businesses. And of course, in the greater Omaha Council Bluffs metro area, our barbecue pantheon of tasty places. So it's nice to have BBQ Brothers have a home again, and I really enjoyed my my plate, and I'll definitely be back. There's no question at all. So definitely a great spot to visit if you are in the Lake Manawa area. And again, they are at 321 Comanche Street in Council Bluffs, and you can go see them there for your dine-in or takeout needs, and maybe get a sandwich, or like I did, a rib plate or a 1 or 2 meat dinner, and get some of those good sides. So as this is a place that I've really only visited or revisited here recently, if you go there, it'd be great to hear from you. Please email me, SaturdayOmaha@gmail.com, or you can message me across the various social networks and let me know what you think. Often TJ and I, when we're talking about our food overviews, we talk about doing the thing, which kind of means ordering one of everything on the menu. So when we do a longer food review, we go back for several visits, order many things. So in this particular case, I really just had one lunch. So maybe you can help me with a little bit of field research out there and give them a go and tell me what you think. What did you order? What did you like? And that really kind of goes for any restaurant too. If there's some place that you think that I should check out and dine at, I love a good suggestion, especially if you provide a dish that you really enjoy, that you might want to share. That's one of the great joys I have on this show, is that if I find something that I like to share it with the world, and hopefully you will get a smile on your face and a happy tummy like I did too. So anything we talk about on these episodes is a place that I would like to visit again and would recommend. So I would love those recommendations coming back our way. And it's always neat if somebody has a hidden gem or a special dish or just really sharing anything with us. It's nice to know that the radio waves and the podcast vibes that are sent out into the universe, it's nice to feel them come back our way, and so we can experience food together. Truly, thank you for listening to our show. Thank you for being with us. As we say on our show, until we eat again, stay hungry. Bye-bye.
Our show is recorded and produced by Saturday Omaha. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, as well as email SaturdayOmaha@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and stay hungry.
Saturday Omaha.
Eat this.